I would say that there's probably a lot of different points in my life where I didn't necessarily follow Jesus.
Going into high school and I wasn't really following Jesus, I guess. I just kind of going to church and doing the routine thing.
There was a point probably a few years ago where just school stress and lack of self-confidence kind of got me in a point where I just saw so little good things in my life that I figured that God couldn't exist.
All through middle school, I would say, I went to church and I believed in God and all that, but my life was never connected to Him in any way.
Well, I've always tried to follow Him the best I could, but I never went out of my way to, and I never thought I need to follow, this is a way to follow Jesus.
I said I was a Christian and stuff, but I never really felt like I went to church and stuff, and I never really felt God at all.
5th grade, I was just following my friends, and I was following the latest fashion trends and the latest gossip, and it was all fine in my life, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything.
I followed my friends, my friend relationships were kind of my main concern, and who didn't like me, who did like me. I mean, maybe that's a middle school thing, but
I still wanted to have control over who I hung out with and what I did, and I wasn't serving Christ in the ways I should have been.
I was always focused on my social life.
I honestly always felt like there was something missing, and I never knew what it was.
Without Jesus there, it was kind of I didn't really have a purpose.
Confusing because you don't necessarily know what your life is about or what your purpose is.
But I didn't have a point in my life at that time, and I didn't think about Jesus. I just went to church.
I decided to follow God when I went to my first breakthrough.
I decided when I went to breakthrough.
I first started to follow Jesus after 7th grade, the Juby tour I went on.
I first committed my life to Christ in 7th grade at junior high retreat.
After I went on that mission trip, it changed all my priorities.
I went on a mission trip the summer after my 7th grade year.
I found my faith again.
I guess I just felt so surrounded by a sense of love and just happiness that it was overwhelming, and I felt like that love was coming from somewhere else besides just those people, and I figured that'd be God. So I decided to commit myself to following Him then.
But I went to breakthrough, and slowly but surely I realized that that hole that was empty was actually God's area in my heart, I guess.
I learned and I figured out that He was the way, and nothing else matters besides Him.
When you commit yourself to following Jesus, you always feel like there's that netting below you, that if you fall, you'll always be lifted back up.
I really feel that since I started following God, my whole life is just kind of 360 completely. The same things that used to matter to me don't matter to me much anymore.
The most important thing to me is that with following Jesus comes all of your brothers and sisters in Christ, and there's that community.
So the fear of people not liking me, not doing right in school, just anything wasn't relevant anymore.
I have really been a lot happier. My friends wouldn't, they would never leave me.
And I started thinking about more what I can do for God, what I'm supposed to do for Him, not just what He does for me. And as soon as I started thinking that, I knew I was actually following Him and living through Him, not just believing.
I would say that following Jesus is different than believing in Jesus in that you can believe in something but not necessarily act it out in your life.
I looked at following Jesus as a way to actually enhance my life on this earth. I found that much more appealing than just believing in Jesus, because I felt like there was just so much more to gain from following Him.
And following people and other things like that, it's really hard to maintain.
For me, following other people made me happy for a little while, but when I really sat down to think about it, I wasn't as happy as I thought I was.
When I was following other things besides Jesus, I was not as good as a person. I was stressed all the time.
After I kind of got back into my faith with God and strengthened that, afterward I'd sit down and think, am I really happy? And he'd be like, yeah, I really am happy. Life really is good right now.
if you look in a fashion magazine and you look for clothes, it'll just give you a substitution, and he'll give you an answer to your life.
In my experience in following Jesus as compared to following other things, the things that we put our hope in are what we want to gain satisfaction from. And when you put your hope in Jesus, you're never going to be dissatisfied.
If you put your faith in objects and other people in this world, you're going to get let down one time or another.
When I see a person, I think of God and the way he looked beyond people and beyond their cover, and so it helps me not to like be judgmental.
If someone said they were looking into Jesus and they were wondering what they should do,
Jesus is the one thing and the one person that is going to love you 100% of the time, and no one else can offer you that, and no one else can offer you a place in heaven.
so I'd recommend just going on one-day trips, just trying them out. It's not too scary of a commitment to go on Breakthrough, and that's a trip like everyone loves, and you'll find friends there wherever you're from.
You can't like put it in a box and wrap it up and say it's all pretty. It's hard, and it's definitely you'll struggle with it, but in the end it's like a reward that unlike any other.
Now I've got friends that love me no matter what, and I feel solid, and I feel like my whole life is just awesome, and I wouldn't trade my life for anything right now.